In this, we'll move on to the smart contracts. First of all, we'll go through the history of smart contracts, exploring various blockchain platforms. Anyhow, we have explored various blockchain platforms previously, so we don't need to go to other blockchain platforms. We mainly focus on the Ethereum platform and IBM Hyperledger. Then, if time permits, we'll go through other platforms like Codra and the Stratus. This kind of platforms, we'll see that. Study the elements and structures of the smart contract, problems that can be solved by smart contracts, syntax and semantics of Solidity programming language, designing a smart contract solution, and finally, we'll see how to utilize the Remix web integrated development environment for running the typing or coding the smart Solidity programs and executing. Smart contract is a computational element of blockchain technology because, as we have introduced in the Ethereum blockchain, smart contract is the core of the things. But we have been seeing from the beginning, blockchain is not a completely new technology. But whatever the concepts we have used in blockchain have been already been present in the security and networks. But the only thing what we have done is we have in the blockchain the best possible or the top class methods have been taken and tailored to suit the conditions of the decentralized environment, like public key cryptography, non-repudiation property, cryptographic hash function like SHA-2, SHA-256. These are the various top class cryptographic methods that have been taken and tailored to become blockchain. In the same way, smart contract is also not a completely new technology. Anyhow, the computer scientist Nick Szabo, in his research paper, coined smart contracts in 1996. Smart contract is the central idea of Ethereum blockchain, as just now we have seen in the previous lecture. Improper design, code, deploy, and execution of smart contract can cause serious attacks on blockchain. So, how much we keep the care in developing the general software, the same care must be provided, and same or maybe some additional care should also be provided for developing the smart contracts. Because if the smart contract has unnecessary inputs, unnecessary entries, uh, it will also obviously it will cause a serious damage, and not only serious damage, if you have written some unnecessary functions, unnecessary things, then the execution on the Ethereum will also have some cost. So unnecessarily, if you execute them unnecessarily, you are supposed to spend some gas points. Automatically, it is a big burden to you also. That means in the form of the consumption of the gas points, you must be very careful in designing the program. Second one is you should not use unnecessary inputs or unnecessary functions, so that it will become a chance for anyone to exploit the smart contracts. So thereby they can rob all the money that you have in the form of Ethereum. So this is also a possible attack on these smart contracts. So that is the reason the design, code, deploy, and execution of smart contracts can have serious attacks on blockchain. So you must be very careful in design level, code level, deploy level, and execution level of smart contracts. Linux Hyperledger blockchain offers smart contract via chain code. This is a chain code is a method which is also called as smart contract in case of Linux Hyperledger. We have already discussed that Linux Hyperledger is the base for the IBM Hyperledger from which it was evolved. Chain code is written in Go language and executed in Docker environment. We'll see whenever we discuss this IBM Hyperledger about the Docker and all. Docker is a lightweight container technology for executing the code. This information I am providing here, but in detail, what is Docker and how you install the Linux IBM Hyperledger on Composer on Docker, that we'll see afterwards. Anyhow, I have provided a link to you, that is YouTube link. You may also go through that link for understanding before I explain that, or anyhow I will explain in this lecture, in this course. So here is the first paper written by the Nick Szabo in 1996. As part of the e-commerce conference, this paper has been appeared, Smart Contracts. So this is the first they have projected in the e-commerce conference for digital markets. So with this, this smart contracts have been inspired and included in the Ethereum blockchain. So let us see what is smart contract. We'll try to understand further better what is smart contract. Anyhow, by this time we come to know if you want to write a business logic, we need to apply the smart contracts, or any business logic can be converted into smart contract. This smart contract facilitates transfer of assets other than value or cryptocurrency. Any asset can be transferred with upon some conditions, like as I told you, the shifting of some property from the power of attorney to the concerned children who attain 18 years of age. So here there is no cryptocurrency involved, but some asset has been transferred. Specifies rules for operation on blockchain. So it will clearly specify what are the rules to be followed to execute certain transactions. Smart contract implements policies for transfer of assets in decentralized network. So here we have seen transferring of asset from power of attorney to the children when he or she attains 18 years of age. So this is the policy. Adds programmability and intelligence to the blockchain. Instead of simply sending some amount and receiving some amount, some intelligence will be added in the form of these policies and rules. Represents business logic layer. That means where the business policies and rules can be programmed. Includes messages that invokes in functions. So these are the properties of that will be involved in the smart contract. If you look at the Bitcoin transaction and smart contract transaction as a diagram given here, let S1 is there. S1 is sending the transaction as send value, but S2 can also do the transaction known as send value. S3 can also do the transaction send value. S1 can also do the transaction send value. So that means all put together, only sending some value is the only transaction available in the Bitcoin blockchain or simple Bitcoin transaction. While coming to the smart contract transaction, just to recall the voting example or bidding example. In the voting example or bidding example, one has to vote or one has to bid for one item. So in that, assume in case of voter, if the voter is a valid voter, so the transaction is first one is to check whether the voter is valid voter or not. So if he is a valid voter, then S2 will be given the facility to vote, and that vote will be counted. Same in the case of if he is a valid bidder, then that bidder will be given facility to bid. Okay, and other person will keep track of the other person will keep track of the majority bid, and finally one person has to declare the winner who have won the bid. So here these all things S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, all these are called here the states, we can say. So in Bitcoin we have only one, even though we have multiple states, but the event to move from one state to other state is only the TX value, that is send value only. But in case of smart contract transaction, we have the same type of states, but these states are varying from different transactions. That means smart contract is somewhat elaborated, somewhat bold to accommodate multiple events. Okay, and with this multiple events, multiple states change will happen. So this is the advantage of this smart contracts in the Ethereum, and the same concept have been used in IBM Hyperledger also, and many other recent blockchain frameworks are using the same concept like smart contract, and some more additional concepts like tokens, and these concepts are also been introduced that we'll see in the advances of the blockchain. Now we'll mainly see the what are the problems that are solved by smart contracts. Generally, currency transfer is done to avail a service, utility, or product. There may be other things involved in executing the transaction. The other things may be rules, policies, laws, regulations, governing context, etc. Whenever in any problem statement you identify these rules, policies, laws, regulations, governing context, then you need to immediately recall we can use smart contracts here. That is the reason whenever a case has been given to you, you have been asked to identify the role of the each entity involved in the case, as well as you are asked to draw the or design the functional requirements and the regulating procedures, and who are the regulating authority to keep manage this particular blockchain. These kind of things were asked. The reason is whenever you design the rules, whenever you design these rules, policies, laws, regulations, governing context, all these things can be simply converted into the smart contracts. So smart contract allows these real world constraints to include in the blockchain. In this way, smart contracts allow wide variety of decentralized applications of arbitrary complexity to be implemented in blockchain. This feature allows to develop a wide variety of decentralized applications ranging from supply chain management to disaster recovery. So wide range of applications that you can use where the terms and conditions are involved in any business network or in any manufacturing or in any network. It's ranging from the supply chain to the disaster management or disaster recovery. This kind of aspects wherever the rules, regulations, policies, laws, and governing context these are the involved, there you can implement happily the smart contracts. Before that, we need to check whether that particular case is suitable for blockchain implementation or not, whether the database is required or not, whether the multiple writers are exist or not, whether the multiple writers are having the conflict of interest or not, and whether can you go for the trusting of third party or not. See, these are the things you have to check first. Then you need to identify the functional requirements. Then you need to define the role of each and every entity stakeholder who participate in that particular case. Then after observing them, then finally you have to go for deciding of what type of smart contracts that you can incorporate in blockchain development. Now we'll move on to the programming language which is used for developing the smart contracts in Ethereum blockchain, which is called Solidity. So Solidity is a high level language for coding smart contracts. So the main feature of Solidity is the object oriented. It is a object oriented programming language, and it is a contract oriented. The basic unit of object oriented is class. Here the basic unit of the entire structure is contract. So that is the reason we'll call it as contract oriented, statically typed. There is no dynamism in this, complete static typing. Turing complete, because you can write some nested statements, and high level language for coding smart contracts. This is what the features of Solidity, where in case of Bitcoin scripts are not object oriented, not contract oriented. They are also statically typed. Forth like language structure will be used, and stack based implementation will be there in the Bitcoin scripts, and the Bitcoin scripts are Turing incomplete. Here is an advantage of the high level programming language like object oriented and a contract oriented, contract based, and it is also statically typed language, but it is Turing complete and a high level language for coding smart contracts. It is designed to target the Ethereum virtual machines. The style of the code is just like the syntax and things are limited, is simply like JavaScript. So you can also go through this github.com/Ethereum Solidity release to observe new functionalities available in the Solidity. As we have seen Solidity code, the Pragma Solidity and the version of the Solidity number, version number should be mentioned. So that version number consisting of some functionalities which are related to that version, and these functionalities will vary from version to version. So hence you can also go to this link so you can see what are the latest functionalities available in so and so versions. Solidity programming can be written and executed using web browser based IDE called Remix. So you can also type in Google called Remix IDE, or you can also visit https://remix.ethereum.org for this IDE, and you can directly type the Solidity code there and can run it. For this, some test environment has been provided to you, test ethers. You can spend test ethers there, and you can execute there, and you can see the output there itself. Once you feel that this is very good and we have written the Solidity code correctly, then you can copy the same code, or you can download the code and can use in the decentralized application development. Remix support only compilation and testing, but deployment has to be done based upon your DApp design, decentralized application design. To include smart contract in the blockchain, one has to use blockchain gateway services such as Infura. Or we cannot directly deploy on the main chain, hence we may also deploy the smart contract and decentralized applications on the test networks provided by the Ethereum. Ethereum provides you several test networks where you can deploy your application on the test networks and can test for some time. And if you feel that you don't have anything to improve, then you can launch it on the main network. So for that, Ethereum will provide you the test networks like Ring-B test network and many other test networks. So this is what the basic idea of the Solidity programming language. We have seen this is a high level language and all. Now we'll see how the Remix IDE works. So you people may type Remix IDE. So whenever you type the Remix IDE, you will be having the link that https://remix.ethereum.org. Just to click on remix.ethereum.org. Here you will get this link, in which on the left hand side you will be having the folders like contracts, scripts, tests, remix.txt. These are the folders that we are supposed to use in the deployment of our decentralized application also. One thing you remember, this Remix IDE, which is available on the web, will vary or will regularly updated by the developers. Hence, whatever the view that you see today, you may not get the same view after 15 days, but the functionalities will be are common. Sometimes these functionalities may be improved. Previously, the Remix IDE is designed to provide facility for Solidity programming language only. Thereafter, it has been used, it has developed the facility for optimism and some other programming techniques. So if you want Solidity as a thing, then you can click on Solidity here. So here you will get so many the Solidity related features, and you can work with this Solidity related features. We have seen in the test Solidity code, or in the Solidity code, we have seen that we have to use a compiler where the related functions are going to be used in our program. That related function, related version compiler need to be used for compiling the code. So here, whenever you click on Solidity here, you will be finding the Solidity related options here. You can see here you will find compiler. If you click on compiler, you look at so many compilers you will be having, starting from 0.1.1 to the latest compiler, the 0.8.9 compiler. So whatever the compiler you use, the related compiler, whatever version you use in the Pragma, that related compiler you are supposed to use for compiling the code. And here is the language, Solidity language, and compiler default. Here there are the various EVM versions are there. The EVM version is the compiler default, you take it. You can also take some other compiler versions, EVM versions developed by some other vendors, but you may choose compiler default. And here auto compile is nothing but as you are typing, if there exists any error, immediately it will highlight. So it is better to it is recommended to turn on the auto compile. Enable optimization. So better you enable the optimization also, because as the length of the Solidity code increases, the cost of the gas points or the gas points to be spent also increases. Next is hide warnings. Don't hide warnings, because warnings are very important to correct your code. For example, in C programming, even if you declare a variable and the variable has not been used in the program, then you won't get any kind of problem. But in case of C++, if you use the GCC compiler and if you have declared a variable and you have not used it, then a warning will be given. The program will be compiled, but the warning will be given that you have declared a variable but not used. Like that, in the similar way, the warnings will be provided to you if any unnecessary code you have written in the program. So don't hide the warnings. So this should not be checked. This should be kept intact. The reason is, we have seen, for loading into the memory, for getting the values from the memory, for compiling the contract, for everything, gas points will be spent. That means if you might have declared a variable and you have not used in the program, once you declare, automatically it must be kept in some memory. So for that also you will be charged with some gas points. That is the reason you must be very optimistic in writing the program. Next, here compile, no selected file is there. You can compile the file like this. If you click contracts, scripts and tests, some default files has been provided to you. Here some default files has been provided to you: storage.sol, owner.sol, ballot.sol. So what is this .sol file? Which is Solidity file. How you will save the .c programming with .c as the extension, C++ with .cpp as extension. Like that, Solidity program must be saved with the extension .sol. And this Solidity code must be linked with the front end. So for this, the Web3.js is a library that will help us to combine this Solidity code with the front end. So the corresponding deploy_web3.js, deploy_ethers.js file will be provided to you. So whatever the changes you make, the corresponding related changes must be added in the deploy_web3.js, deploy_ethers.js file. So this I will explain when we are going to discuss the decentralized application. And here ballot_test.sol The reason is, before going for deployment, we need to test the Solidity program. If there exists any flaw in the Solidity program, it will cause a serious damage. So we'll write some unit test cases and also integrated test cases for testing the Solidity smart contracts. So these are the three default folders that we use in the decentralized application development, and we use this kind of structure in the development of the DApps. For that, we use the command-based development environment called Truffle that we'll see at the time of discussing the decentralized applications. In the Truffle also, you will be given by default, whenever you generate any project in the Truffle, by default these folders will be generated. The same folders you will find here. Whatever the code you want to write, you can code it here. You can then directly test it for the linking purpose. You can also directly test the solidities by using the test cases. Once you feel this is very good and whatever the code we have written is fine, then you can download this file. You can download this file and you can directly use in our general development. So for this, you don't need to install any Ethereum software, or you don't need to install any IDE on your computer. If you have an internet connectivity that is sufficient, you can directly open this and you can start typing the code. Once you type the code, if the code is executed, just to save it on your computer. This is the only way you can simply do without having any installation. This is only up to the Solidity code and contract execution. At the same time, you can also upload whatever the code you have written on your computer onto this via this particular symbol. Load a local file into current workspace and you can work onto this IDE. So this is the brief introduction of the Solidity code. Now Solidity Remix editor. Now we'll move on to the storage.sol, owner.sol, ballot.sol. We'll see the ballot.sol. If you click ballot.sol, so you will finding this Solidity code. So in this code, pragma Solidity greater than or equal to 7.0.0 less than 0.9.0. That means they are using the version, the functionality of the features of Solidity between the versions of 0.7.0 to 0.9.0. So this is the way also you can write. For example, I am using all features of up to latest after 0.7.0. You can mention Solidity greater than or equal to 0.7.0. Like this, you can modify this pragma depending upon the version related functions that you are using. Now here contract ballot struct voter. Here voter related structure has been written. We'll see this coding styles and programming concepts afterwards, but I am going to show you how this particular program has been written. So for voter, because voter will be given some weightage, and whether we want to check whether the voter has been voted or not, as we have seen previously, this here the voter has been voted or not. If the voter is a valid voter, we'll go for voting. Then once the voting is completed, the count has to be maintained. Then finally, one has to declare the who is the winner of after this particular vote. So here, Boolean voted. That means next is address delegate. So person to delegate this particular vote. Next is vote, uint vote. So index of the voted proposal. So these are the things required. So this is made as structure. Struct voter. It is simply like our C programming structure only. And for proposal also a structure has been mentioned. So the proposal will be having proposal number, name, how many votes have got for the proposal. For this, a structure have been maintained. Next is chairperson is the one who is known to everyone. So we need to know the public address of the chairperson. So the address is public in nature. This is the access specifier like public, private, protected that you have seen in C++. like that here public is a access specifier that we use. Next is mapping. Here a map has been used, address to voter. So we will be having the voter address. So whenever we get the voter address, automatically corresponding voter structure will also get here. And this is the public voters. This is the map of voters. Just by their address, you can get the details of that particular voter. Here proposal array, how many proposals you want to include. There may be 5 proposals, 4 proposals, 5 proposals, 6 proposals. That depends upon the problem situation. Now the constructor of this contract. So this is the constructor. Whenever you go for construction, whenever you call the constructor, then automatically the proposals will be initialized. The default weight to the each voter will be assigned. The chairperson detail will be assigned. So like this, everything will be initialized in the case of constructor. Next is the functions are like give right to vote. Next is delegate vote. And next one is finally vote. These are the functions. Finally, once you do this operation, that is voter do these operations, the chairperson will go for winning proposal by announcing the winner name and these details. So all these functions have been written in the ballot smart contract. This is the ballot smart contract. So this case already I have presented in our tutorial in the morning section. So you can also go through that thing, like as part of the bidding. The same concept has to be used here also. Contract bidding and same thing. The bidder information is in the form of structure. Bidding items information in form of structure, and the one who will decide this will go for this. So like that, the chairperson who will announce that particular bidding is also in the form of the same programming structure. Here they have used the voting, and I have just converted into the bidding type, and the case has been provided. So you can compile this code because you are going to use this Pragma Solidity 0.7.0 to 0.9.0. So you can go to this and you can select up to 0.9.9 and compile ballot 3_ballot.solve. So you can compile it. So once you compile, you will be getting compilation details. So these are the compilation details. Once you compile, these are the various outputs that you will get: name, metadata, bytecode. So this bytecode actually will be executed on the Ethereum virtual machine. And ABI Web3 deploy, the code for deploying onto the Web3 to link with the front-end application will be provided here. Metadata hash, function hashes, all these things will be generated. So whatever you want, just to copy it and use on our development. This is what the beauty of Remix IDE, where you can write this contract and you can go for. And here is a symbol called Ethereum symbol. You can click here. Here it will be provided that deploy and run transaction. Now to deploy, first of all, you need to mention the gas limit. So by default, the gas limit is some 3 lakh gas points. And here for you to test this contract, some dummy accounts will be created. These are the toy accounts. Each account, around 10-15 accounts will be provided. Each account will be filled with 10 ethers. These are the toy ethers. These are not the original ethers. This is only for the simulation purpose. They will provide you for the simulation purpose. So these are the ethers will be provided. And here are the JavaScript virtual machine JVM. So here JavaScript virtual machine of London, which is there in the environment, that has been selected. So you choose either Berlin or London, that is up to you. So JVM of JavaScript virtual machine has been taken for the for running this particular bytecode, because we can implement on the Ethereum virtual machine, which is just like JavaScript virtual machine only. That is also like that. Now Now value here, let will go for value. Value is around 10 bytes, because in constructor, what are the things they are taking? In the constructor, they are taking the chairperson's address and voter and the proposals. How many proposals you want to vote for? Here the proposal name. Okay, here the proposal. How many proposals you want to deploy, that you are supposed to go for. So we are supposed to provide proposal names. So here we are supposed to, this particular ballot smart contract is especially for the thing like there are some candidates who will be standing for election, or there are some proposals which are kept before the committee for election, and the participants in that election has to vote for at least one of the project or proposal. So the proposal which got more number of votes will be given preference for their consideration. So in the same way, many companies used to filter out the proposals. Like for example, they want to get something purchased, so they will get the purchase. They will get the quotations from multiple companies, and they will try to sort out based upon the proposal they place before the committee. As the number of committee members voted for particular proposal or particular quotation, that quotation will be finalized for purchasing some products. So like that, this process can be made online via the blockchain. In as part of that, one case study, one case and related Solidity programming is this one, that is ballot smart contract, in which the chairperson of the organization will put the proposals before the committee, and the committee members has to register first, then vote for a particular proposal. So this is the way this entire Solidity programming will work here, in which this is the constructor. In this constructor, you will be having the bytes 32 memory proposal names, and this is the proposal names that what you are supplying will be entered into the bytes 32 that is array. Here we can also take the proposal names in the form of strings. Strings is a default data type available in Solidity code, so Solidity language. However, we all know that to execute a smart contract, for loading into the memory, accessing the value from the memory, and for computation and storing, for all these things, some gas points will be spent. So the string is a data type that takes more number of gas points, because the strings has to be converted, the characters has to be converted into the related ASCII values and related hexadecimal values. So it is a difficult, it is considered as somewhat what you call power consuming or computation required operation. So hence using of strings takes many will take a higher number of gas points. So to avoid that, people used to use byte 32 as the data type, which is directly consumption in terms of bytes. So there is no translation, specific translation is required. So that is the reason byte 32 will give you can be used for decreasing the gas points for the evaluation, that is smart contract evaluation or smart contract execution. So all put together, strings will take more number of gas points. Obviously, you need to pay more money for executing that. Byte 32 or bytes 32 will take a low number of gas points, so that you can accommodate your money will not be wasted. So this is what the basic idea. So for bytes 32, we have to supply the input in terms of hexadecimal values. So it is a difficult task for you to convert into hexadecimal values and to supply. Instead, what I will do is here, this is the deploy. In this deploy, you have bytes 32 proposal names. You are supposed to supply whether hexadecimal value. Directly strings, if you supply, it will not take. Hence, one thing what can we do is that will do I'm converting this into string. That is proposal names I'm taking into string, but it has to be converted into the bytes. So bytes proposal is equal to just will make this into conversion like bytes of proposal names of I. So let will go for auto compilation so that it will give you immediately the error what is there. So here the data location must be storage or memory. So what I will do is bytes memory proposal. Now this particular line don't have any error, but it is showing that the input is invalid because there is no implicit conversion from the bytes to bytes 32 because string is of type bytes 32 type. So bytes 32 of proposal names of I. So this is going to be converted into bytes 32, and since the bytes is of proposal type, bytes proposal is a variable of bytes type. Error auto compile so that as you type if there exists any error it will show you immediately. So the program is compiled. So as we'll move on to the deploy and run transactions. Here JavaScript, the related JavaScript virtual machine need to be selected, and here by default some ethers will be given, toy ethers. These are not the original ethers, some toy ethers for testing your application or program. Then around 10 to 15 accounts will be given to you for practicing purpose. Now here gas limit is some 3 lakh gas points. Now this is ballot smart contract. Here deploy. You are supposed to provide the proposal names here. Now the proposal names will be entered like this. Since it is the constructor is taking the arguments in the form of string. So proposal 1, proposal 2, and proposal 3. I am giving 3 proposals. So these are the input I am providing here. Then click on deploy. You look at observe I am choosing the first account and going for deployment. So whenever deploy is happened, obviously this smart contract has to be executed on the virtual machine. So that is Ethereum virtual machine. So for executing the smart contract, it requires some gas points. So some gas points will be deducted or will be spent for executing this smart contract, and related amount will be deducted from the 100 ethers that are toy ethers supplied for each and every account. Since I have selected the first account, from this first account, whenever you go for deploy, that much amount will be deducted. I'm going for deployment. So here you can here from so and so ballot constructor 0y data, and this is the hash value of this transaction. Hash value of this contract which was generated, and here this is the window where you can see the running of for any messages or something. Now you can look at, since I have selected the first account, before deployment we have 100 ethers. Now it is 99.99999 up to some 7 digits after precision 988954427. That means that many gas points were spent for executing the smart contract on the virtual machine. So related gas points, related ether value will be deducted from the account holder's amount. So this is the way of deployment. Once this is deployed, you will find the deployed contracts. Here is the deployed contracts. Here ballot at once the deployment is done, then it will be having an address value, because smart contracts will also be having address, which is called the contract address. And there exists another account called there is another account addresses called externally owned accounts. These are the externally owned accounts. These are the externally owned accounts, and this is the smart contract account. So every externally owned account EOA is required to generate these contract accounts. So whenever an account is used for deploying a contract, then that account holder who initiated the deployment will become the owner of that contract. So the contract, this ballot contract that was executed now, who is the owner of this contract is this fellow. There is the first account. So the chairperson, who will become the chairperson now, the message dot sender. Who is the message dot sender? Who initiated this contract deployment? So this account will become the chairperson account. So this is the chairperson account, and this is the contract account. This is the contract account. Here, this is the address. Now, if you click on this ballot contract, you will find the other inputs like delegate, give right to vote, vote, chairperson, proposals, voters, winner name, winning pool, winning proposal. What are these things? These are the functions. These are the functions. These are the chairperson, proposal, voters, winner name, winning proposal. So these are the these are the functions that are defined in the contract. So give right to vote, this is the function, and delegate, this is the function, vote, this is the function, and these are the variables: chairperson, proposals, voters, winner name, and winning proposal are the functions. So all these functions give right to vote, delegate, and vote are the public functions. So that is the reason it was shown like this. The public functions will be shown, and you can pass the parameters and can get the values. So if I click chairperson, so who is the chairperson? Chairperson is whenever you go for the constructor, here chairperson is equal to msd dot sender. So chairperson already we have declared as public, so that is the reason it is showing here. So chairperson, whenever the smart contract is deployed, so the one who deployed, from which account, externally owned account it was deployed, that fellow will become the chairperson. So chairperson, and this is the account 0x5b38. Just to remember this, and you go to here. What is the address here? 0x5b38. This is the account. Okay. So this account has created this. So that is the reason this address will become the chairperson address. Clear? So this is the way we'll deploy the smart contract, and we'll pass the parameters into the functions and variables, and we'll try to test these values. Now vote. Now chairperson will not vote, but some other person has to vote. So let's say, for example, in committee, another person is there. So he is the other person. Now you select the first person in the committee, and you can go for vote. So you first of all you need to give the right to vote to this second committee person. So copy this address and go to the chairperson's address, and paste the person's address here, the one who want to vote, and click here give right to vote. Now the right to vote was agreed. So now the committee member who is the second account will be given the right to vote. Now you look at from the previous ether balance to this ether balance, there is a difference, because you have run a function called the chairperson has run the function called give right to vote. Now this address is having the right to vote. Now select this address and try to go for the proposal. So vote to the proposal. So vote the first proposal and click on vote. So now the voting was done to the first proposal. So whenever this person, committee one, first person in the committee has run this, has casted his vote to the first proposal, automatically some gas points will be spent, and the related gas points, ethers will be deducted from his base ethers, which is called coin base, from and the resultant number of ethers remain in his account are these. So this is the way how the deployment will be happened and how the operations will be accessed or tested from via this Remix IDE. So this is the way in general you can write the program and you can test the program thoroughly on the Remix IDE. Once you feel that okay, this can be done, this can be done free, and the Solidity program is running successfully, then you can download this code and can use in your decentralized application development. So this is the general introduction to the Remix IDE.